just announced plans to keep tired pilots out of the cockpit. News 4's Luke Moretti joins us with coverage on this pilot fatigue rule. Luke.
Yeah, Victoria, that's correct. Calling it a big deal, Federal Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood today announced sweeping new regulations for commercial airline pilots. Now, this...
You left it...
Connection flight 3407 in Clarence, which claimed 50 lives. Under this new rule, pilots would get a minimum 10-hour rest period between work shifts. That's a 2-hour increase over existing rules. There also would be weekly and 28-day limits on a pilot's schedule. Now, federal officials credit the families of Flight 3407 crash victims for making this happen by never giving up the fight.
This took too long. It took too long beyond the Colgan air crash. But these things take a long time because you're involving pilots and the airlines, and we wanted to make sure we had the input from the families. We wanted to make sure we got it right.
It's a long time in coming, and I can guarantee that as a result of the efforts of the families and their diligence and their nonstop efforts to make this come to fruition, we will now have safer skies as a result.
Now, the new rule does not apply to cargo operations, although it allows operators to opt in if they want. At some point, federal officials say they're going to be conducting a meeting with those operators in the near future. Also, federal officials say that it will take about 2 years to implement these new rules because of scheduling conflicts that they have with the airlines. We're going to sort this all out for you coming up tonight at 5 and 6 and have the latest developments on this big story today. We're live in the newsroom for now. Luke Moretti, News 4 at noon.
Thank you, Luke. Senator Charles Schumer has worked closely with the families of the victims of Flight 3407. He just released this statement about the new rules. Fighting for these flight fatigue rules has been like running the toughest triathlon. There have been endless hurdles and barriers. But by standing side by side with the Flight 3407 families, we have made it to the finish line. And as he just says, as well as Congressman Kathy Hochul just said, these new rules are the work, the tireless work of the Flight 3407 family victims. News 4's Nalina Shapiro now has reaction from them. Nalina.
Victoria, right now we are outside Robin Tolsma's Lancaster home. Robin lost her husband, Darren, and her children lost their father nearly 3 years ago, just 10 minutes away from her house at that crash site. Robin says today is a bittersweet day. Now, just a short time ago, we went inside Robin's home, and we were there with her as we listened to FAA and transportation officials on a conference call announce the new pilot fatigue rule. Robin's face actually lit up when Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood said we are celebrating a landmark, making the skies safer. When Robin heard that the new rules would make sure pilots got more rest, she whispered to me, "This is a great day." Robin and the other 3407 victims' families have been fighting for tougher regulations since the crash in Clarence Center that killed 50 people and an unborn child. The NTSB ruled that pilot fatigue was a factor. Robin says she feels like today's announcement is an early Christmas present, and while she knows it won't bring her husband back, she just hopes it will prevent other families from experiencing similar heartbreak.
I miss him. I miss him. I miss the interaction with the kids, and he's missed so much, and I feel guilty. I mean, I sit at home every night with my kids and I laugh, and we watch Christmas programs on TV, and I go shopping and I feel guilty because he doesn't have that time. I don't want families torn apart anymore. So I get emotional because I think, I wish he was here, but what a legacy that's left behind. And I'm so proud to be part of the 3407 family members.
And back live in Lancaster outside Robin's home. And when Robin heard that it might take a little bit of time for these rules to actually become a reality, she said they will not give up their fight. They will continue to keep a watchful eye on Washington and make sure that the skies do become safer, as she said, and that the rule announced today actually becomes a reality. Reporting live, Nalina Shapiro, News 4 at noon.
Now, for complete coverage of the new rules, go to WIVB.com and click on the News tab.